Now that I've watched all of Welcome to Plathville, let's get back to diving into Jon and Kate Plus 8. This video will feature the first 18 episodes of Season 3. If you're not familiar with this show, feel free to check out the playlist and watch from the beginning. Hi, I'm Danny, and you can normally find me on this channel diving into TLC shows, Christian fundamentalism, and exposing family vloggers. If this sounds like something you're into, I'm excited to have you around. I do want to acknowledge that I fully believe this show was exploitative. There were so many intimate things they showed of these kids' lives that no one should have access to. Simultaneously, before I dive into the modern day issues, especially related to Colin, I want to understand where it all started. I do my best to focus my recaps in on clips of Jon and Kate, but I do show the kids, as that is obviously what the show is about. Remember, it might be a crazy life, but it's their life.
It might be a crazy life,
but it's our life.
Right, Season 3, Episode 1 is about the family going to the Pittsburgh Zoo. Early in the episode, we learn a lot of the little kids prefer Kara over Maddie because she's more gentle and sweet with the kids.
Kara was consoling him out of bed, where Maddie was like, drill sergeant out of
Yanking
bed.
him out of bed.
Yanking him out of bed.
Typical them.
After a busy morning of getting ready, they make it to the zoo and realize there was a tram set aside specifically for them for the day. So that made traveling around the zoo a heck of a lot easier. They started off by feeding the giraffes. We also see Aaden instantly bonding with the zoologist and having the time of his life.
And they just bonded.
And, as always, Jon and Kate have to get into an argument.
No, I didn't want to go in there, but you should discipline your own children.
Well, I was in with the penguins. How could I hear what he was doing?
Oh, you push Colin off onto me again, I'm leaving them.
But this is a summer day at the zoo with 8 little kids, so I give them credit for doing as well as they have. The episode wasn't all that exciting, as they just saw all the different animals. Episode 2 is titled Day in the Life, and it shows the complete chaos of having a family of 10. Kara and Maddie are now in 1st grade, so they go to school for the full day. This means they have to wake up early in the morning, have lunches packed, and go to school all day.
I put a little note in their lunch on their napkin.
As for the sextuplets, Kate has been successful at getting the girls potty trained. The boys, not so much.
I am so tired of changing diapers.
Here, Jen. Here you go. Catch. Nice one, Kate. Throw a dirty diaper at your show's producer. We see the kids eat breakfast, play outside, fight nonstop, and then begin eating lunch. I'll never be Kate's fan, but I will give her credit for being able to survive this day after day.
Alexis and Colin, yeah, they're just not good together.
We also discover the kids are obsessed with watching Jon and Kate Plus 8.
On this episode of Jon and Kate Plus 8.
They always say, we want to watch Mommy and Daddy.
But like most episodes, we just see the kids fighting, Kate cooking and cleaning, and lots of screaming. It's all quite repetitive. Episode 3 is about the twins turning 7. Weirdly, they have school on Columbus Day, but Jon is off, so Jon and Kate take the 6 kids to Jamboree, where they can play and learn. We do see a moment where Kate asks Jon not to discipline the kids when he's angry because they deserve to be calmly explained why what they're doing is not okay. I appreciate this because it's one of the things Jon seems to do often and a little too aggressively.
Oh, I don't take it. I just take him out and go sit in the corner.
However, I don't love that Kate has these discussions in front of the kids. Then again, I don't know when or where they would have it. It's kind of a loose scenario given the chaos. But they make it to the Jamboree class, and it turns out the gym is owned by a viewer of the show, and they invited the Gosselins for a private event. It honestly seems like such a blast.
Parachute, the bubbles, the dancing with Jimbo and singing.
Then it's time to get the house decorated for when the girls get home so that they can celebrate their birthday. But it was a long day, and the girls kept feeling like the other one was going to spoil the present first. Okay, ready?
I'm not ready.
1,
I'm not ready!
and that concludes their birthday episode.
1, 2, 3.
Woo! One thing that is so funny about this show is realizing how it was a never-ending ad for this family. This episode is about Kate wanting a nanny, so she uses a site called Nannies for Hire.
Candy was going to be the one to interview them while I sat by and watched the interview. I was in the next room, next door.
They only show 2 different interviews, and Kate thinks she likes Ashley more. So she has Ashley come over to meet the kids and see how she feels about the insanity.
But I just didn't know if she would have the firmness that needs to happen around here when the full-blown, fights start happening.
I find it so odd how they do these entire segments of the show, and they never seem to be talking nicely about the people they interview. Kate ends up not even hiring Ashley because their schedules didn't fit. But then she finds Sarah.
She has that maturity about her and has babysat a family with 6 kids before, so I figured they didn't kill her, so we probably won't either. And I hired her.
But then the moment episode 5 starts, we learn that Kate also hired Beth's daughter through Nannies for Hire. Beth is one of Kate's best friends, and she frequently watches the kids throughout the show.
I've been coming twice a week for a couple weeks, about a month or 2.
But this episode is about getting furniture that helps keep the house better organized with all the toys and kids' things. So while Beth and Kate are shopping, the men are in charge of the kids.
Okay, who's gotta go?
Bob and I put the potties outside so the boys wouldn't make a mess inside the house.
Once they get all the furniture to the house, Kate has a doctor's appointment. So she has Carla's daughter, Ashley, come over to watch the kids while Jon builds the furniture. I'm not sure if it's the way they edit everything or what, but they are super inconsistent with the nanny narrative in this show. Jon also shares that he has a new job where he often can work remotely, so he's able to be around a lot more. This helps him finish up the shelves quicker as well.
I'm going to take pictures, laminate them, and stick the picture on the basket to show them what goes in the basket.
Episode 6 is about the boys' potty training.
You did pee! You big boy!
These are one of those moments that I want to clearly state was inappropriate to share, and not something that I think anyone wants documented for anyone to see. Also, Leah and Colin have to go to the eye doctor, so Kate drops everyone else at Aunt Jody's. We also learn that Jody takes the kids once a week. So again, I'm very confused about this nanny situation.
Jody, this school year, asked me if she could take them a morning a week, and I was like, all of them? Are you serious? She's like, that's just my way to help you, and I'll feed them lunch and bring them back.
At the eye doctor, they take a look at Colin's droopy eyelid and deem it completely fine.
No treatment, no glasses, and come back in a year.
And there's still 12 more episodes left of just this video to watch. Why do I torture myself with these dumb shows that I also love so much? Episode 7 is about them going to do a family photo shoot and film the new show opening. I've been cutting out a lot of the fighting because we all get the point, but here's Kate being upset Jon moved the photo shoot clothes upstairs rather than putting them on the kids.
Well, but we needed to get dressed. Why would you bring them in and put them 20 miles away?
Upstairs is not 20 miles away.
But we also get this cute moment from them, which feels rare.
I do love you and I apologize for being grumpy.
That's better than any Christmas present I could ever have.
And the photo shoot went really well.
These were the best pictures yet, by far.
This next episode lives vividly in my memory because I wanted to go on a bus just like this so bad.
The zip line was their absolute favorite.
It's like a gymnasium, but on a school bus. Most of the episode is Jon and Kate out on a shopping spree while Carla watches the kids. Kate struggles with having any sense of fashion, so Jon picks out the outfits for her the majority of the trip.
It looks really nice. You can wear it with anything.
And that takes us into the Christmas episode, episode 9. Jon is starting some traditions with Maddie and Kara, and they build a gingerbread house while the sextuplets sleep.
I just knew that they would enjoy doing, put on candy and all that stuff.
And when everyone got up from their nap, the family went caroling to their various friends' houses and brought everyone cookies. The first stop is their neighbor Beverly. She watches the kids sometimes for Kate and goes to the house once a week to help Kate with all the laundry. It really is amazing how good of a support system the Goslins have. Then they head to Carla's.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wanted to tell Carla thank you as well.
They also went to Beth and Bob's and then finished at Nana Janet's.
She's continued coming every week since they were born. She has just become a lifelong family friend.
Now it's Christmas morning, and Kate came up with a smart way to keep everyone separated and organized when it was time for presents.
I would print out their names, tape it to the floor, and that's their spot.
And then Christmas began.
We got biblical action figures.
Okay, sit down, Prince Charming.
You're Goliath.
They wrap up the episode with a delicious lunch. Episode 10 is about their horrific plane trip to Utah. If you've forgotten, they live in Pennsylvania. They're going to Utah for a ski trip at Park City, and they were specifically invited there to do just that. But this isn't the first time the family has flown together, as they did go on The Ellen Show, and that was filmed in California. Genuinely, a winter trip with a family of 10 sounds awful to me, especially with the sextuplets still being so little. That's just a lot of luggage.
That's my carry-on. They each have their carry-on. It's a lot.
And in Jon and Kate Plus 8 fashion, this turns into an ad about snow apparel that kids can grow into. This family truly was the original content creators, and they got some great sponsorships. Obviously, 2 adults cannot handle 8 kids on their own, so Kayla and Beth joined for the trip. They made it through TSA and head into the airport. Everything goes fairly well until the very end of the flight when the pilot announces the runway is shut down due to ice. They end up landing in Boise instead of Salt Lake City and have a long delay. I can't blame Kate for freaking out at this point, as I'm sure she's already exhausted and definitely overstimulated.
I'm just really tired. I know you are too.
But they did end up making it. One thing I keep finding while watching this show is how poorly they splice some things that people say. They don't even let Kate finish her sentence here.
That house was awesome.
I want this place.
But that concludes episode 10 and takes us into a 45-minute special where the family goes skiing. Unfortunately, it sounds like Kate may be experiencing some altitude sickness, so Jon is on his own getting the kids ready for ski school. My first day skiing was an absolute mess. I was almost 22 years old and was just so terrified. It also doesn't help when you have basically a newborn baby just gliding right past you and having the time of their life. I give Jon credit for getting the kids up with those godforsaken boots and in all of their snow gear.
Stretch him out, make him nice and tall.
While the kids are at ski school, Kate goes to the spa with Beth and Jon goes out snowboarding.
I mean, Maddie and Colin and Leah and Kara did exceptionally well.
That's the call I received, that Leah and Kara were awesome.
Also, watching this episode in June in Colorado is so sad. I'm so happy it's summer, but skiing looks so fun right now. 4 of the kids decided to go skiing again the next day, and the other 4 stayed with Kate and Beth. I think 50% is a great success rate. Leah found herself a little nervous on day 2, and Jon had the perfect plan to get her feeling confident.
If I give you a piece of gum, will you go skiing?
Also on day 2, Kara went on a lift and went down a proper slope. She's already better than I am. I do really hate that none of the kids or instructors are wearing helmets. Safety is important, people. That night, Jon and Kate have a date night. The next day, they all go ice skating together and Kate can't figure it out. It's so funny to me how much she struggles at these things, yet the other 3 adults were just fine. And Maddie got a bit too confident when she went to show her mom how well she's learning.
Okay.
Honey, you can't go out with such confidence.
But that doesn't ruin the trip by any means.
It turned out really cute and fun. I think ice skating was really fun.
They finished their trip with a sleigh ride up to dinner and then head home. Genuinely, despite having all the helpers, I found this episode to be very impressive. Vacations are not an easy task, especially for a family this large. That was a fun episode to watch. Moving on to episode 12, they are getting Maddie a violin so she can have something that is specific to her. Kate used to also play violin. And Kara will be getting a piano. It's been given to the family by the piano's manufacturer.
H-I-J-K-L-M-N-O-P.
This is also the first time we see Sarah Nanny since the Nannies for Hire episode. One thing that will always make me personally opposed to having a large amount of kids is the fact that the kids rarely get individual time with their parents. I'm happy to see Jon's new work schedule allow him to be a bit better at this. He's obviously vastly outnumbered, but kids deserve one-on-one time with their parents.
They're not worried about it's going to be stolen from them or who's going to hit them, bite them, push them. So they know they're safe and they just are a totally different personality.
After only a few lessons, Kate tries to get the girls to play together, and, well, they're not there yet.
Honey, Kara, she can't go that fast.
Well, I can't go slow either.
And that takes us to episode 13, where the twins get to go to a cooking class. And while Kate is talking about the kids all being sick, we get this iconic interview moment.
She was probably, I'm sorry, can you stop breathing so loud, honey? He's like,
But she isn't done.
so I consider them sick, anyone sick, for, do you hear yourself breathing? Oh, that's just gross.
But yeah, everyone is catching the flu, and it's a puke fest.
It's an easily washable floor.
And speaking of floors, in honor of the kids all being potty trained, the next episode is about getting new carpet, which, thank God, because their green carpet is atrocious.
When you wake up in the morning, there's going to be tan carpet here.
And while that's being installed, Jon, Kate, and the 6 kids begin looking at potential properties they may want to own one day. Kara and Maddie are at school.
This was never a permanent move for us, and we knew that when we were buying this house.
And that concluded changing out the carpets. Episode 15 is about Valentine's Day.
Sandwiches for school were heart-shaped. I just go by the philosophy that if I had 2 kids, I would do it. So why can't I do it for 8 kids too?
When it comes to traditions and holidays, Kate is really good at those things, and I do actually give her a lot of credit there. And Jon went to get Kate's gift the day of.
Surprisingly, the mall was pretty busy.
Yes, because men like you can't be bothered to go to the store any earlier and actually plan ahead for your partner. Kate also does a cute scavenger hunt for the kids that ends with a large present filled with a bunch of toys and things.
Yeah, they tore into that box like there was no tomorrow.
And Kate appreciates the roses Jon got her.
Thank you, honey.
You're welcome. Anything for you.
Are you awake or are you staring?
No, I'm not staring.
Okay.
Jon does a pretty decent job with her gift by getting her a bag she wanted and a travel jewelry case she's been asking for. It seems Jon does listen to her sometimes.
Honey, I don't deserve this. All of this love and such.
I do, because I'm tired of looking for your jewelry.
And Kate got him a gift card to a coffee place. These 2 clips together confuse me greatly.
Yeah, a gift card for coffee.
That's his thing.
I love coffee, so.
Are you sure about that, Jon? Episode 16 takes place at the Crayola factory, and I just want to give a slight headphone warning here.
Jon! Jon!
And we see this interaction between Kate and Colin when Colin eats some clay.
Colin! What are you doing?
Everything you give him is food.
And that really isn't all that crazy for a 3-year-old. I mean, I was munching on those Polly Pockets and those pencil grips well into elementary school. Kate also refuses to let the kids use markers, which is specifically ridiculous for the twins as they're now 7 years old.
When you have one child that gets one stain on their shirt, great, it's one stain. When you have 8 kids that are all markered up, that is an entire day I get to spend in the laundry room on stain removal.
All right, Kate, these are Crayola markers. They're very well known for being washable. Elementary schools around the world use them in classrooms of more than 8 kids constantly. But we also see some excellent parenting from Jon with Maddie.
Suck up your tears, stop crying, and for the rest of the trip, don't open your mouth.
As a sensitive girl, I feel for Maddie here. I had a hard time in crowded areas where everyone seemed to be getting more attention than me, and honestly, I was probably overstimulated too. But as someone who was told to be quiet and behave, this shit hurt. Kids want to be seen and heard. So parents, please do all that you can to see and hear them, even if they're being super annoying. But unfortunately, Kate doesn't want to deal with Maddie either.
How do you make a puppet out of this scrap?
Sit on that bench.
No, Daddy told me I could get up.
I really hate how Kate didn't even answer her question. This is why I'll never be in support of big families. Kids are guaranteed to be forgotten in families like this. Episode 17 is titled Leah and Joel, and I'm really excited for these next several episodes because they're about Jon and Kate deliberately spending time with each child. So, for the first day, Maddie and Kara were in school. 5 of the kids went to Aunt Jody's, and then Jon and Kate took Leah to a bouncy castle place. And at Aunt Jody's, the kids all obsess over and share a cute duck costume.
I want to my stick and my ducky. Papa! Papa! Papa!
Another thing we get with these solo episodes is a focused description on the kids. So in this episode, we learn that Leah was number 7 of the 8 kids. She is the clearest speaker, she is closest with Maddie and Hannah, and she's a bit of a daredevil.
Tell me about the slide.
It was so big like this.
And now it's Joel's turn, and he gets to go to a children's museum called Hands on House. Joel is baby 8 of 8, and Kate sees him as Jon's mini-me. Hannah and Leah both love him, but Colin and him are currently enemies.
He knows every button to push on all his brothers and sisters.
What is interesting to me, though, is that Joel did his day just with Jon, and Kate stayed home with the rest of the kids.
What's that? What's this?
That looks like a booger.
What is it?
Fishing lures.
Cookies.
I am so happy for these kids that they get these days, though. I loved solo days with my parents, and I had half the siblings these kids had.
You can tell the stress level has decreased like 1,000,000%.
And they have so much to tell us.
And that takes us to the final episode I'll be watching for this video. Episode 18 is dedicated to Hannah and Aaden. Hannah is child 4 of 8, and she's known for her maturity. She loves to help Kate out with the laundry and taking care of her siblings. For her activity, she chose horseback riding and is doing it with both of her parents. The rest of the kids are at Aunt Jody's again. They learn that Hannah is incredibly shy without her siblings.
And you say, whoa, whoa. Look at that!
And for Aiden's day, Jon took him to the farm. I am incredibly confused why the boys don't seem to be spending the days with Kate, but she stays home with the rest of the kids again. She claims it's due to a lack of babysitters, but we have not seen that issue on the show. Aaden is child 5 of the 8, and because of his glasses, they call him the professor. We have seen throughout the entire show that he is obsessed with animals, so a farm makes a lot of sense for him.
And what'd you see?
Car.
Cows?
Cows.
Unfortunately, Aiden's day wasn't perfect, as it was rainy and the cows were bashful, so he couldn't pet them.
But I put them up there and none of the cows would come over.
And that's me sharing my favorite 7 minutes of a 6-hour and 18-minute 18 episodes.
I love spending time with Mommy and Daddy.
I hope you'll join me as I continue to make my way through the show and eventually dive into the modern day controversies. I hope you have the best day. Bye.